Good afternoon, respected convener Dr. P. Kiran Srigaru. Today's resource persons, my dear faculty members, very good afternoon to one and all, and my hearty welcome to the 5th day of 1 week national level online faculty development program on recent trends in cyber security and machine learning. As this is the last day, we'll start the sessions with one of the resource persons, Dr. D. Arun Paul Daniel. Anuj, Dr. D. Arun Paul Daniel, sir, welcome to this faculty development program, sir. Arul, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, shall we start the session, sir?
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, before entering into the session, first of all, let us convey our thanks from the Department of CSC, Sri Vishnu Engineering College for Women, Bhimavaram. We thankful to you, sir, because despite of your busy schedule and in this Sunday itself, you gave your valuable time to our participants to share your valuable insights, sir. Really, thank you so much for joining with us as a resource person for this faculty development program. We hearty welcome to this program, sir.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, sir.
Sir, before entering to the session, let me take the privilege to introduce you, sir.
Yeah, sure.
It is my great honor to introduce Dr. D. Arul Paul Daniel. Dr. Arul Paul, working as Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Loyola College of Arts and Science, Tamil Nadu. He did his Bachelor of Computer Applications in 2006, Master of Computer Applications in 2009, Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science in 2018. Dr. Arul published 3 books, 11 international journals, 17 international conferences he attended. He was invited as resource person, special and guest lectures in national and international levels and 14 state levels. He organized 5 faculty development programs and attended as a resource person more than 10. He played prestigious roles like editorial board member, editorial review board member, and editorial assistant. Really, we are very glad to have you as a resource person for this faculty development program, sir. So now I request you to share your insights on machine learning. Now the platform is yours, sir.
Thank you. It's my immense pleasure to be a part of this faculty development program as a resource person. So I first of all thank the management and also the organizing committee who head over this FDP in a fruitful way. So especially today is a holiday, obviously, but they are organized in a well manner in the afternoon sessions. So I don't want to bore the sessions because after the lunch, so you are here to know how the machine learning is does and do also. So I was come up with a synopsis of machine learning and towards how it will be given opportunity towards an artificial intelligence. So this is what today's session. So the roadmap of your today's session is how the machine learning process is work and what are the industrial revolutions take part towards the machine learning and how it was booming up in the latest past decades, and what is artificial intelligence and what does artificial intelligence do, and why, who are the people are need of artificial intelligence, and how artificial intelligence improve the human life towards the society, and what are the accomplishment of humankind artificial intelligence does, and how the industries are influenced by the artificial intelligence, and what can we expect in the future with the help of machine learning towards artificial intelligence, and some of the case studies what we did so far. So obviously you might be come across the learning process, that how the learning process is done over on years, like how we are cultivate our students and also ourselves in the mode of education. Obviously you might be come across that each and every practices that we do in from different grades, like from the primary schools or secondary schools or higher secondary schools, pre-universities, like that. We come across a lot of practices to learn what the reality is. Similarly, the learning process is denotes the changes of are updates of this real world towards our lifestyle. So this is what we meant on learning process. Similarly, we are going to teach the systems too. Here the system mentioned that the robot or the system which will be helpful for to make ourselves very comfort and make ourselves to be lead a good role on this society without any handicaps that we faced over on our skills. So here, most of the people who are expert to the learning process, they are denoting that learning is a constructing or modifying representations of what is being experienced by humans. Obviously, we experience a lot in a year of 10 years or 20 years, but all put together in a terms of is like a skill that what we are making over on today's uh, uh, role. So this is what we are taking from the human being towards the machines. So learning is making useful changes in our minds and also hearts. Why learning is very important to us? So to understand what process is the first phase of your learning. So whatever we are observed from the real world, so that it has to be understand ourselves, and later it will be taken up to improve the efficiency on our understanding too. So maybe on a first sight, we might know some of the information that will be not more prominent to learn about a particular object. But later on, frequently we are visiting, frequently we are making the sense of that particular object. Definitely, we come across that more about that a particular object in terms of irrelevant of the people who is visiting first. So in this way, we are having the learning process very efficiently and very simple manner how we can go with that a particular subject. For an example, if you are going to learn a C language in the first time, somewhat we face a lot of hurdles in that observations, because we may not know the logics, we may not know what the mathematical backgrounds is on doing the programming. So what is the style of programming, and a lot of issues there on first time learning. But later, after different phases, like we are come up with the different level for UG and PG, then automatically we come across that C will be the common language. So like language, all other things are also very similar to that learning. So first time it is very hard. It is doing repeatedly. It is very easy to us to understand and also improve and make ourselves in observations. Good. So, and another thing we have to find and we have to discover some new knowledge what we have in existing one. So maybe sometimes we may not get experience, but we get exposure from others like our teachers, our mentors, our friends. Those times the experience of others will be taught to us and we grasp them and we can make use of that exposure in terms of experience. But while we come to the experience indirectly, then we can focus on a lot of things that what others says and the views of others may be differ from the views of us. So similarly, the artificial intelligence or the machine learning also done so far. So a lot of people are doing machine learning, programming and algorithm. They may have the changes on theoretical part, and they may have the changes in their algorithms and some of the functions like that. But still, it is live on doing machine learning researchers is a very useful one, not only for us and also for the society. So for an example, every day the data term will be increased more than millions or trillions likewise. So nowadays everyone have the social medias with them. They are post a lot of images, videos, text and so on. So all put together, we have a large amount of data is stored, and that has to be analyzed. And not only we cannot able to say that the data is in precise way. So very cognitive way, the data is spread over the world and over the databases, and it will be analyzed. So the main objective that why we are going to learn the existing data and with the help of expert knowledge and domain knowledge. Then obviously the main objective of the machine learning is to build a software agent to adapt the user is like as a human with effective way. And another thing is we have to be improve our intelligence and intelligence behavior of your systems too. Okay. This is what the industrial revolutions that we come across. So the first industrial revolution is took part in 1780s. So very good old mechanism that what we come across nowadays. But nowadays the machineries will be discarded in all sort of things. So we are going with the cybernetical way of machineries. So the second revolutions come across in 1880s, and revolution 3 is 1980s. So far the first three revolutions may take near about 100 years. Later we may come across an industrial revolution. Most of the Indians might know that we are in industrial revolution 4, but nowadays we are in industrial revolution 5. So how the industrial revolution established with the cyber physical systems and IoTs and networks, obviously. So what today's industry is taken up for their processing, their production, and for their supplying, and what else we can say that whatever the Amazon and whatever the automobiles they are doing in these days will be Industry 4 revolution systems. But what the researchers, what the computer science engineers might do for the future, they are working with an Industry 5 revolutions that humanless technologies for the society. So this is what why we are going to deal with the machine learning and artificial learning and so on for getting in a wide range of opportunities for the younger generations. So before get into the industrial 5 revolutions, we might know the what is industrial 4 revolutions. So obviously this slide gives you more informative that what experience today. So robot simulations, system integrations, IoTs, cybersecurities, cloud computing, and augmented reality and big data. So we are in metaverse world that still we are working in the industrial 4 revolution part to make 100% precision on their work. So how the clusters will be done here, the subset of data science will be the artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence have a subset of machine learning. So machine learning have another subset of deep learning. Still we have another subset because we are very particular on research without any wide range of taking work, taking job in a wide range, and we can confuse ourselves and we can go for submissions. But we are working in very precise way, and that's why so these subsets will be generated and it will be reached in a wider range. Okay. You might be come across that oftenly past 3 days we might repeatedly we are speaking about that how artificial intelligence, how machine learning is done. So the machine learning will be in a three different type. One is supervised machine learning, that will be called as a weak entity in a time of artificial intelligence, and unsupervised machine learning that will be considered as a somewhat strong, and reinforcement learning is a more take a major role that in a preservative manner of artificial intelligence. So we come into the machine learning. So machine learning have the subset of unsupervised, supervised, and reinforcement. So all these terms, whichever I was presented here, was well known to us. So we are working in some feature extraction or feature engineering patterns, and some have in the classifications or regressions, clustering. You may work with the dimensional reduction of your data set, and we can work with any gaming systems. So all sort of things will be done within a sort of engineers itself. But what is the role of a researcher or a teacher, or a term, how the learning process has to take part in the machine learning towards the system is difficult now, because we are not supposed to be in experience in all these fields like unsupervised and supervised and also reinforcement learning type. And oftenly we are working with a particular domain, like only identifying the frauds in cybernetic way, or we can go for a security purpose, or you might be wrote for some other programs like to analyze the cognitive way of the response of the client, like or some NFTs or some blockchain technology will be taken role of how the market will be forecast. So lot of things will be dealt in machine learning, but still we are lacking on developing the tool or deploying the tools in the terms of making into the users needs. Still it is in the corporate hand, they are making use of that, but not in the end user side. So with the help of the people who are working in the business, they are working with this kind of machine learning is very essential thing. But whereas for the customers, but still the customers have the some sort of choices that they can go with their own collective cognitive way to select their products. But it is not done with the end of the customer. It is also pushed over by the business people towards the customer. So that's why the machine learning is still have awareness that how it is will be done and how it will be used in the side of customers and also the people who are involved in the business. So this is the difference, that how the supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning will be done. So from the way of definition, from the way of the problem is taken to work for supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement is totally differ. And what sort of data type has to be, our data will be used while you are. So based on data only we are working, whether we are comes under the supervised learning or unsupervised or reinforcement, but still we don't have enough way of labeled data in terms of types of data towards the research. So and also the training method also is differ in supervised and also unsupervised, and also reinforcement, and the approach is also in different way we can take. In supervised learning we can also make use of unsupervised learning and also reinforcement to ensure that whether our algorithm or our system is working properly or not with the help of testing process. So supervised learning is a scratch from the learning process that will be very helpful for test our system, that whether our system is working properly or how far the system is accurate than what we are predicting. And the next level of supervised learning is unsupervised learning. So with the help of new data, so the data has to be clustered as required as how the experience we have it in a supervised learning. Then finally, the system itself has to be correct their errors and correct themselves to learn with the help of existing experience what supervised learning teach, and how unsupervised learning will be differentiated, and that errors has to be reinforced, and that learning process has to be done towards the machine itself. So this is what the level that we have to be make use of our learning process in terms of system from scratch to the expert level. So machine learning is nothing but a subset of artificial intelligence. It is also a statistical tool to explore the data to understand what the data is to be reflected on the humankind. And some of the learning techniques also already I was explained that. So supervised, unsupervised, and semi-supervised, or it might be considered as a reinforcement. So partially labeled, and it will be done. Okay, this is what the process, that how the machine learning process. So first, initially we have to collect the data, and the data has to be pre-processed. So what will be the inclusion and exclusion criteria has to be for taken up for an analysis of the data, and some of the models has to be fitted in it, into the particular data, and that model has to be evaluated whether it is working properly or not, working what should be the perfections of the particular model and everything. Then finally, the hyperparameters has to be tuned, that how, in which data or in which kind of information is to be described that model in terms of precisions. So you might be know that how the machine learning works. So we are making the features that how the object has to be taken here. The object is like your vehicle or any sort of object like your ball or box shapes regarding that. So we can each and take, including the human faces also is considered as an object here. So whatever the sensing elements that we are making use of, like FI common senses will be taken up here as data inputs. So with that thing, we can go for an extractions of the feature. So for an example here, we can make use of this kind of examples like. So one people might know the elephant might be in black color. So in another sense, some of the people might know the elephant might be in white colors too. So the majority people believe that the elephant might be black color, but some people in South African African peoples might know that elephant might be in a white color. Similarly, so most of the data have the hypothesis that what we are defined, that will be a description to that a particular type. So that's the main feature, that why we come out with information that though we have feature engineering patterns and feature extractions, so we avoid those things to get into the training process. So here the machine learning is purely make up with uh, the feature extracted by the manual process that will be done with the people, and that will be get into the system, and that system will be trained initially, and later the features will be, the test features will be given to the system, and it will be tested, and it will be find whether the object is precise, what learning process will be taken up with your machine. But obviously, it is not reliable on today's world, because one of the example is that elephant. Not only that elephant example, we have a lot of examples like that. So one people know that how to ride a bicycle. Their explanation is different from another one. People, if you want to go for how to drive a car, so another thing, one people say in a different manner, and another people may say in different manner. So each and every day the upgradation and the explanation is differ from people to people in a simplest way, and also in innovative way. So that's why the people are saying that think out of box to explore ourselves, that how the explanation is given in a textbook or a reference book. Instead of that, we can come up with a new latest real world examples. So that is the thing, the reinforcement learning also done in your machines. So machines is very obviously the machines are very sensitive nowadays, because we are import a lot of the information. So what we may not able to store in our brain, we has as able to store in our hard disk. So obviously everyone might have latest mobile phones or latest laptops and so on to store a data, because the data load will be higher than an individual. So each and every individuals have taking many photos, many videos, many informations, like they might hold on with years, like the memories. So that's why we are getting that into the deep learning. So deep learning is nothing but there is no human intervention in between learning and also testing process. So all together the algorithm will be taken care of data. Finally, it decides that whether the the given information in terms of the experience what learning data set is taken. So this is what the deep learning networks will be done. So what convolution network or autoencoder network. So whatever we are working as a neural network, that will be lies on. So earlier the support vector machines or C4.5, these kind of algorithms will be relied on a linear part of classifications. But whereas we come to the neural network, after neural network, we have a lot of evolutions in the neural network that mainly deals about so how the non-linear data sets are non-linear classifications may be made over with the help of different sectors. So the research is still live on neural network conversions, like a lot of integrations will be there, like fuzzy neural network, rough neural network, and a lot of things will be, we can spoke about that, how the PTSS will be working on with the neural network. So improving of deep learning into the neural network convolutions like that. So we have a lot of insight, and somewhat we have to learn from the bio-inspired algorithms too. So a lot of bioinformation algorithms, bio-inspired algorithms will be deployed in the neural network, and like that we can go on with the different sense of human being into the machines. So what does AI do? The AI is nothing but the machines has to be think, and it will be work. The decision making process without help of human, the system has to be make decisions in a good and bad positions too. Actually, it empowers that the algorithm to make guide the human errors in taking the decisions. So obviously we might come across nowadays how the COVID-19 will be tested. It was approximated by the doctors. So they may not able to say that exactly it is a corona or it is not a corona. But obviously they are still they are working with that how to define the COVID-19 in the exact way. Still the approximation is taken up, and that approximation is lead to make a decision to for giving treatment to the patients. So somehow it will be success, and somehow it will be failure too. So like that, not only in medical, and also we can go for any other NFT process also, like cryptocurrencies, like other things. So still we may not say, so still the market will not be able to analyze, and we may not able to fix that growth of the market and everything. So obviously the shareholders, share markets will be lies on. So they are approximated that whether maybe the share may be getting high, or maybe the share might get down within years or within month or within days. So the approximation of decision will be taken up by the today's systems. So that has to be improved to the perfection. So that is what we are still making use of machine learning, and we are still trying to make learning process in a better way to deploy the system in terms of a good one. And some of the benefits of the artificial intelligence is like a witness to the several industries nowadays. So what Amazon is doing, what Flipkart is doing, what Snapdeal is doing, not only these kind of websites, obviously with the chatbots which are used in a lot of universities, a lot of websites nowadays. So without any human intervention, all the information will be shared according to the queries that raised by the customers. So who needs really it is working for the people who is suffered a lot in working of their day-to-day life, like finance, health, agriculture, on sort of retailing business, domestic appliances, and so on. So everyone is required in artificial intelligence in their own domain and also the stream. So in education too, nowadays the new education policy is termed in the different sense, but still we may not able to classify the students in terms of they may be good, they may be poor, they may not be average students. So still we have an experience to uh, cluster the students' knowledge. So maybe somewhere they may good at sports, or they may good at cultural, or some are good at their handwriting or presentation, or some are good at in speaking and like that. So each and every kid have their own skill set. So according to the skill set, we need to teach to the students. So it is highly impossible for a single teacher has to be handle those different skill set people in terms of a single mind. So this is the hurdle that we are facing in an education field too. So each and every field have its own demerits and merits. So whatever the demerits in the field, that has to be rectified with the help of artificial intelligence. This is what the main role that how the artificial intelligence does. But still, it have an error on finding out the best out of the best, so that the machine learning peoples are working along together for reaching out the accuracy, the precision of the system towards the skill sets. How the AI improves the life, obviously it will be very perfect than the human being, because we may forget something in not worthy things or somewhat unrelevant one, but the system will remains everything, each and every bits, and will be stored in your systems. It was very intelligent than human being, but it is not very smarter than the human being. And this, according to the scenario, we can act, but the system may not be do like that. Still it is in the learning process of how to react on situation basis. So it can react what we taught and what we teach to them, that will be happen in the reflected in the system. But whereas it is not good for us, but still it is good for us for in terms of whatever the gap between human in terms of skill set, that will be filled with the machines. So obviously sports, medicine, security and business and so on. So these things will be dealt different resource person in a separate manner. How to secure our cyber securities, how the machine learning will be helpful for the cyber securities, and different disciplines like moreover we can working on. Obviously, in a sport, we can find out that how today's decision will be taken on the sports, whether the umpires will be fail to make a decision, automatically they seek and help with machines. So a lot of sensing elements, example, cameras or audios will be sensing. So with the help of that only, the decision will be made finally. So, and another thing, another opportunity for the sports, the precise way of decision making is taken up in a sports itself. So the human may not be able to listen or had a vision of precise way, but the cameras and the other equipments have the clear vision of the thing what happened early. So these things will be help to eradicate the mistakes or eradicate the errors that human errors, and it will be rectified and it will give a perfect. It's not a perfect, near to the perfect one to the world. And obviously, we enjoyed a life more when we have a smarter systems look around to serve to us to with the comfort zones. So accomplishments of AI to the humankind is very important here. So a lot of quicker search and hits. So once upon a time we may not able to choose our dresses or our gadgets. So nowadays we can choose. So without any review of people, we can get into the system within an half an hour. We can search all about where it was the production is taken up, where it was sold, and who is the production managers, who is the selling managers, who is the selling mark. So everything, so whatever we need within a single click, we can get all those informations nowadays. So not only in a precise way, that whatever we have in the social medias or any sort of searching engines, like with the help of them, we can do it everything. So those industries which is really influenced by the artificial intelligence, transportations, manufacturing, logistics and business. Especially as an Indian, we might know that agriculture is one of the major influenced industry nowadays. We are taking up, and banking, education, food, and healthcare systems, and laws, and telecommunications too. So it is not limited to that list what I projected, but it is moreover it have a lot of subset of industries. So what should be the expectations on the future? That is very clear that the industries has to be expect more uh, better systems or more good systems rather what we have in today's life. and the leveraging of artificial intelligence technology has to be disposal of all sort of barriers and difficulties what we have in today's scenario. And finally, it is focused on we can accept that it is smarter than what today's smart things. This is what the case study is what we are working. So first is Brithomic. So it is nothing but with the help of it is in a healthcare system. We worked in a two different healthcare system. One is Brithomic and wearable technology. So here the Brithomic is nothing but the Excel breath of the human beings is taken as an input or a data, and we find whether what kind of disease is. So especially we are working with the non-communicable diseases here. So I get it. This is what the block diagram of the Brithomic what we are constructor. First, we have to acquire this breathe, exhale breathe with the help of sensors, and we can convert that in terms of digital to analog to digital, and that will be making use of feature engineering. Then finally, we are classified. So we are especially work with carcinoma, like what we are commonly said as cancer. So the stomach cancer is identified at an early stage. We can able to cure completely. But this is what the work taken. We are obviously we reached 80% of that predictions. So this is what the system which was built with the help of normal controllers, and it will be analyzed, and with the help of a code of C code, and this is what the systems we used. And some have with the help of a cheaper one, a cheaper product has to be developed with the help of Raspberry within a cost of 10,000 to 20,000. So it is mainly used for helping of screening of cancer patients to work with different cells. So this is the one kind of product we design and we're making use of in our university. Periyar University is in one of the best A++ university in Tamil Nadu. They hold this system still for testing. This is what how we are collect the data from the cancer patients, and also we can do it in that. So another thing is a wearable. It is mainly for monitoring the people. Post-operated and pre-operated systems will be available nowadays. So maybe it is very costly to afford by the patients, but some have it should be deployed within wearables. It can be somewhat good for people to don't want to hesitate that to weigh those things for recording their medical status. So especially some people might know that the diabetic two patients might have the remote accessing of the entire diabetic. It sends every hour, and it return to the doctors, and it will be analyzed. And according to their analysis, the doctor will prescribe to the medicine to the patients. Time to time, it will be vary from sometimes it may vary in time to time and also day to day. So how it was built with the help of the microcontrollers itself. This is in a block diagram. So what kind of sensors we are making use of? Obviously, so most of the smart watches have these kind of sensors nowadays. So with that we can working a lot, but the watches doesn't have the precise one, and the precision of the watches is very low because the product itself have the drift. So those drift has to be handled, and also the cognitive way of data has to be analyzed. But no smart watches, whatever we have purchased like 50,000 or 1 lakh, that will not have such sort of facility nowadays. So still it is under working of machine learning. How can we can go with that kind of thing? So we are working in that. So how it should be performed in different way of physical activity, blood pressure, temperature, calories burned. So whatever the we have mentioned here is already there, but still we may not have the precise data for monitoring the people who are, because whatever the smartwatches we have is a very nominal factors that has to be deployed, and that will be monitored, that will be shown to us. But if we relate with that data is exactly, that will be the wrong one, because the data is whichever, so the operating procedure of the wristwatches and the gadgets will be totally different. this is a video that how we are make just. So with the testing model, we are tested with the controllers. So it's a simple kit that we have with the heart pulse rate and temperature is taken. So obviously it will be deployed with the help of recent technology. So it is a simple model that we connect with the mobile. So finally, the last case study is for an agriculture, how the machine learning has to be taken up in agriculture. So here we are deployed with the Raspberry Pi and some of the systems to help out that the pH value of the soil, and we take a photograph of the leaf for whether the what kind of diseases might on the tomato fertilizations. So this is what setup what we are making of. One type of system is for irrigation purpose, only for whenever the sprinkler will be done their sprinkling time with the help of the pH value of the soil. So in another way, we are working with the diseases, identifying the diseases that how the plantations will be affected, maybe based on color or based on size and based on the leaf type. So this is the pH value that we get from for irrigation. So when it has to be started the irrigation and when we have to be stopped. This is another system. It is mainly helpful to identify the diseases of leaf. So it were placed in the corner of the land, and it will be taken a picture every day, and it will be sent towards the server. And in that we can manually we can check and we can do that whether we are going for fertilizer is maybe used, or sometimes we have to be taken care of that plantations by personal care. So in this way, we can hold up with the different kits also available in online. And Crazy Pie, we can get a lot of kits is available. We can make use of that. So whether you are ready for the artificial intelligence industry 5 with the help of machine learning. So it's time for your questions and clarifications.
Participants, if you wish to interact with the professor, you can unmute yourself and interact. Anuj sir?
Yeah.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Please proceed and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much, sir, Arun sir, for giving your valuable insights on machine learning towards AI. And you clearly explained about the differences and how the input is going to be taken and how the output is going to be generated for machine learning as well as the deep learning. You clearly explained with the diagram, sir. That input one input car feature extension classification, then output. What happening in the deep learning also you clearly explained that feature extraction and classification is going to be combined, and then you explained about what does AI will do and how we are going to work with this. You clearly explained, sir, and what are the needs of this AI and how AI improves the life and what we can expect in future with this artificial intelligence and all. And you clearly explained whatever the things that you practically implemented with the case studies, that is healthcare, which you already implemented with Breathe Home, which will be very much useful in this COVID and all. And the second case study you worked with wearables and all, how you are wearing with this, how the wellness of this habit and how we are going to correct it. And the third case study you worked with this agricultural, that is irrigation system and all. Really all these will helps us a lot for their research and further work, sir. Really we are grateful to you for sharing your valuable time Even in this holiday, you spend your valuable time for us. Really, from the Department of CSE, Sri Vishnu Engineering College for Women, Bhimavaram, we thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights. Thank you for joining with us, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I am having one doubt. Can I ask?
Yes, of course, sir. It's
Sir,
pleasure.
in the case studies, my question is about what about the cost? How to make it the cost effective, and how can we achieve accuracy when we are
Yeah.
designing the healthcare systems?
So nowadays the best screening process technology is MRI. Maybe CT scan or Dopplers or everything is failed on MRI. So the MRIs cost near about per scan is 6,000 to 7,000. Is a meager amount. It was a less amount that is charged for MRI scan. If you want to scan an entire body, is very hardly we can spend a lakh. If you want to, if some cases, for an example, if you are going for to visit your doctor for headache, so on a sudden the doctor might have some sort of experience that what they get from their teacher, like if someone is come for an headache, we might be screen that whether they have an eye problem or whether they have any sort of problem in their digestion, or they might have a stress, or a lot of factors is involved in it. Without knowing that factors, you simply say to take an MRI for clarifications. So the patient has to go and check for they got to screen their MRI and they can find that nothing in worry about that in a brain. So whether these kind of decision making is a very costly to the patients, and also it is a wrong way of taking MRI at time to time, because it affects the entire body for a lifespan. The patient lost 2 days. If a normal patient have lost 2 days if they take one time of MRI. So to avoid that, a common way of taking input, like, so what disorders is taken up from the human being to start an headache? Maybe the dehydration is one of the reason. Maybe they might stand in the sunlight very long time, and they may chance for taking what sort of food they take. So these factor has to be analyzed. Then finally they go for a decision. So we may not take a common decision for everyone. So one people might have headache through their digestive system. One might have their working process. One might have by their vision problems. So many factors is there. So for that only we are going to avoid those kind of invasive procedures. So that's the objective we are taken. And finally, and we make in a cost effective systems too. If we want to buy a refreshable MRI scan, we have to invest around 2 crores. But whereas the breathomic systems, as a precise way of taking up, it comes under the lakhs. So once the system is deployed for a year within lakh, the cost of screening testing will be reduced. Maybe like 100 rupees will be charged for a screening process. So this is an objective. That's we met it, and with the help of mini computers like Raspberry, Banana, and so on. So we have a lot of opportunities nowadays with the LTK people they are shown. So that's why I referred that a lot of other devices is also available. So, and also it is very simple to code also. With the help of Python or C or C++, we can easily code it. So in PubCat itself, we have a course available, so we can download it. And GitHub also have the course, so we can easily download and we can use. But as a end product, how we are converted these things into an end product, that is also very simple. So the 3D printers itself is very cheaper now. So within 40,000 or 60,000, we are afford a 3D system, and we can make use of that. And also we can design our own circuit nowadays. So nano sensors or nano materials are available now. So you might be come across the smartwatches in the rate of 199 and 500 600. How it is for? With the help of these sensors. But these sensors is physically deployed and physically it is monitored. So definitely the sensors have the drift. So the manufacturer's data sheets itself tells about that our product have the drift of 36% or 24%, 12%, 8%. No one, extraordinary people like GE or Philip, they also deployed their CT and MRI scan have the drift. So we have to accept those drift to avoid and to overcome that those physical or component drift in terms of with the help of softwares. That's the main objective that machine learning is very important role plays in all sort of fields. So the machine learning overcome those drifts what made by the physical components, and we can to be very exact on it, and we have to go for the prediction purpose. And also it is a more effective way of deploying the systems or deploying the end user products too. Is it clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Daniel. It's a privilege actually to see you online like this. Hope
Thank you, sir.
will, even in future also will collaborate, and this association will in future also it will be everlasting. It seems to be something like that.
Sure,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very kind of you, sir.